Hey there. So in today's video, we are going to be taking our existing website that we have just built, building, uh, buildingstreaks.com, where we've got this Nginx. We are going to be doing these next three steps. So first, we want to get our web project, so our front end, we want that getting built in our server, and we want to actually serve that. So when we go to buildingstreaks.com, we get presented with our React app that looks something like this. So how are we going to get there? So first steps on this is we're just going to be trying to clone our repository and putting that in. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT, how do we clone a GitLab repository in a fresh new virtual machine? So just for reference, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to get, so yeah, we first need to get. So let's go ahead and let's get into our, let's SSH into our machine. Let's do that first. Got our public key, and let's get upgraded our, here we go. Let's run our first two little commands. Let's update, and then we're going to install Git. In fact, I guess we can see if Git's here. So it looks like we already have Git, so that's great. Okay, we've already got Git. Now we're going to configure Git. Let's actually do this. What we'll do is we're going to call this, we are going to call our name here. We're going to call this our Linode VM. And then our email, we'll use our, let's do our same email that we've been using, clintonbuilds@gmail.com. So now we've got to generate this SSH key, and we talked a little bit about that last video, but we'll actually do it here. So we'll do this, and we're going to do it for our email, but we're actually going to just call this our Linode VM. We don't want to call this the email, and we'll see why in a second. So enter the file. We're going to save it there. We'll give it a passphrase. Actually, you know what? Let's do this again, but we're going to keep no passphrase for our local machine. So we are actually going to get our public key, and so let's go ahead and get our public key, and then we're going to paste that into our, we're going to go to GitLab, and let's go to our profile and go down to our SSH keys, and we're going to go ahead and add in this new key. So we can see that this is added now. Let's go to our, so we see this Linode key, our Linode VM. So the next step we're going to do, let's go. Now we're just going to clone the repository. So let's just copy this. We are going to have our username, and we actually want to make sure we put this into a specific location that we're going to use. So let's think we are, I think what we can do is we can actually just take this entire project, and we're going to move into this serve directory, and we're just going to copy this here. So we're going to do Clinton builds, and we need our repository name. So it's Clinton builds 1/streak tracker. So streak tracker, and we're going to build it into this directory here. So our username, let's see if we are supposed to provide this. So let's see, Clinton builds, and we'll see if we can put our password in. Okay, it looks like that did work, so that was already set up properly. So we have clone. Let's see if we ls. Okay, we do have our project now. So we can actually go into our web project. Oh, we're going to go to cd into our web project. So our first step on our little list is we can replace this guy, or we'll just make him green because we have finished that. So we've cloned our repo. Now we're going to build our React project. So in order to do that, we are going to come in here and we should be able to just npm install, but we need npm. So let's go ahead and get, how do we download, how do we install? We're going to actually install nvm, and that way it allows us to change between versions, and npm within a new Ubuntu virtual machine. And so this is if we were using Composer or using all of our Docker files and using containers, we would have already had all these things on our container, but we are just, so this is one of the downsides of doing things within a virtual machine ourselves. We have to set everything up, and this is actually, all these steps are really going to be hard coded. So if we need to make a new virtual machine, we're in theory gonna have to provision it ourselves manually again. But I mean, that's the way it is for this now. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna take this first guy, which is gonna install nvm. Okay, and this is going to actually add this, I believe, where we can actually use it. So let's go ahead and install node. And let's see what this is installing different versions. We can actually just come in and we can do v version. So we're using the latest node, and let's do version for npm. Okay, so we look good. So let's do npm install. We should have that installed now. And we can actually go into our web project and we'll look at our package and see what's in here. So what we want to actually do is we are going to build our project, and that's going to throw that into a folder. And from that folder is where we're going to point Nginx to. So that's still installing. Let's see what else we're doing. This is to use different versions, so we're good there. So let's ask, while that's running, let's actually go to our next step too. So we're going to build this, but then we're going to need to, so how to point fresh Nginx config to use some static files. Okay, so we are going to have to modify our server block, and we're going to add in our new domain. We're going to add in a few things. We might even have our domain. But so let's go ahead and, you know, ideally too in the future, we'll actually take our Nginx config out, or we can modify it here. We're not doing that currently. We're just going to be modifying it directly in the virtual machine. So let's go here. We're actually going to try to build this. So it should be pretty easily, where we just do npm build. Okay, we want to do npm run build. And this is hopefully going to compile for us. And we should be getting a new folder, which we'll actually see if it's going to work. But in the meantime, let's come back over here. Nginx is, or ChatGPT is really slowing down for us. So I'm just going to regenerate this question. Perhaps it's because I'm downloading, my internet has been a little bit slow lately. How to point, we'll just say how to point Nginx to, oh, it's not to nodemon, to directory. Okay, serving static content, that's what we want to do. So this is actually exactly the type of thing that we are going to want to do, where we are going to, we want to have a 404 in here. So auto index, I really prefer to use the ChatGPT response. So let's just go ahead and refresh ChatGPT, and we'll copy our message out. ChatGPT is very slow today. Okay. All right, so we have our files here. So let's actually see where this was built. So we can actually see that we have this build now, that's where all of our files are going to be. So what we're going to be doing is if we do an ls of the build file, we'll see that we have our index.html. That file is what we really want everything to be. When you go to our website, buildingstreaks.com, we want everything to actually redirect to that index.html, unless it's under the API, unless there's an API in the route. And we're going to talk about that in the next video here. But for now, we're waiting for ChatGPT to not be so slow. Anyways, we can actually come in and try this guy here. And I am going to wait for this to finish up, my internet to come back, and we'll join back in this video after that. All right, and back. So we've got ChatGPT. We're just asked how to get a fresh Nginx to serve React files. We've got our build step done. We've got our Nginx installed already. And now we're actually going to be adding our new Nginx config. So let's get into this. Oh, and we got to re-SSH into everything here because we closed my connection. I'm on a new connection here. So let's SSH back in. There we go. CD into serve. And we'll CD into our web project from here. Okay, let's come back. So after installing Nginx, we need to configure it to serve our React app static files. The default config is this. So path to blah, and we are going to say serve this index.html. All right, yeah, we can just use, we're only going to have one website right now on this, so we can actually just go ahead and we'll just edit that file because I know that that's actually there. So we'll just go ahead and edit this file itself. And well, this is actually the default. I don't think we want to add. Should we add stuff to this? I would say, how can we add a new site to Nginx and create a symlink? Let's do this. All right. So we're gonna add this, and so let's exit this guy, and we'll do a vim. We're gonna make a new file called for our website, and our website is called buildingstreaks.com. Where was this at? Was it sites available? Buildingstreaks.com. And then in that file, we are going to add in we are going to point this guy here. I'm going to paste this guy in. We are listening on this, so this is buildingstreaks.com. This is, we are in this build folder. We are in serve/web/build. And we are going to try everything there. So let's go ahead and write this file, and let's come down and we'll see how to create that symlink. So this is how you actually create this symlink here. So we've already made this directory. We've already made this directory, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to paste this in, except we are going to change this to buildingstreaks.com. There we go. And then we're going to test our config, make sure we don't have any errors. Test is successful. And then we're going to reload Nginx. And if this works, we should see our React app. Oh, and there it is. Okay, so that's really good to see. And yeah, that's actually both of our steps here done. We built our React app, and we're now serving our built React app with Nginx. So that's going to be it for today's video. Moving into our next steps, we're going to get Postgres installed. We're going to do a very similar thing. We're going to get Postgres installed, and we are going to build our API and migrate our Postgres up. We are going to then serve our new API route to within Nginx. We're going to serve that API route. So our requests, when we go to buildingstreaks.com, they will hit our React app, but if we go to buildingstreaks/API, we should be able to actually see our API itself. So I will see you in the next video, and yeah, see you.